I don't think you have to do anything special. You can make bread, or you can just like go out for a walk, and you can be an artist in the way you walk out and the way you look at things. And yeah, being depleted and being really tired on an ultra race or on an ultra shoot is definitely helping to find beauty in anything. And that's. I was in Rwanda now at the beginning of the year, and this is the article I've been working on. It's like quite a beefy article for Rouleur. And it's really about that. Like, it's really about how, to me, that mental state of like being slightly broken just makes everything around you cold, and how it, because the article is me sharing with somebody why, the why of those races, which is a question I had never really figured out myself. It was all poetry and blah, 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 but I couldn't really understand why are we doing that.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Zone to Speak podcast. I'm your host, Juliana. Hey, everyone. Before we dive in, a quick shout out to the amazing brands that I use and love. And the best part is when you shop with them, you are directly supporting this podcast so I can keep going. Here's the lineup. Cyc Plus, smart pumps for the perfect tire pressure. Down the road, cycling apparel that looks good and performs. New Zest, clean, plant-based protein and nutrition. Oleos, wellness shots with adaptogens and neurotropics for energy, focus, and recovery. Codeage, high-quality supplements like multivitamins, creatine, and collagen. Loop earplugs for travel, sleep, recovery, and noise control. Clearly not coffee. A smooth, caffeine-free energy alternative. Heal, quick, plant-based meals for busy or bikepacking days. Shocks, open-ear headphones that keep you safe while training. Frey skincare design for active people, and sweaty rides. All the links, discounts, and codes are in the episode description. So check them out, grab some great deals, and know you're helping keep Zone to Speak rolling. Now, let's get into the episode. Welcome back to Zone to Speak. Today, I'm joined by a familiar voice, filmmaker, storyteller, cyclist, and all-around creative spirit, Ryan Le Garrec. If you have been listening for a while, you remember Ryan from his first visit to the pod, where we dove into his love for adventure and the emotional layers of filmmaking. This time, he's back to catch up on what he's been up to lately. From the latest in his cycling life to surfing, creative projects, travel, and whatever else he's been chasing, because with Ryan, it's never just one thing. Let's dive in. Ryan, welcome to Zone to Speak.
Hey, hi. Good to be back.
So happy you're here. I'm so happy you gave me your time when I first started the podcast, I think you were my second or third guest. So I really, really appreciate you, supporting my project.
It's a pleasure. I've followed, but it's just like you've been like super, super consistent.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm trying.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I have no idea how you do, because I tried hosting a podcast, and I did one with Chris Burkhardt, and I was like, oh man,
I saw that.
That is a hard job. Right.
Yeah, and I produce, I write, I edit, I do everything. It's one-man shop. But I don't know, because you're a creative person, and I never had this opportunity. So this is like the first time in my life that I'm able to let some of my creative out. I don't know. Maybe that's why. I don't know. Maybe because you have so much creativity in you, and you have so many other projects. And this is the only creative I have in my life. My daytime job, it's like financial world, which, I took a much lower title job to be able to manage other things, because I'm so tired of the corporate world. So I took like an individual contributor role, working from home. I do as I'm told, and I'm loving it.
How is because you moved to Girona in the meantime?
Yeah.
I think last time we spoke, you were not yet in Girona. You were just thinking about it, I think.
Yeah.
How has that been?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, Girona is amazing for a lot of things. the cycling, you have all the routes, road,
Yeah.
gravel, mountain bike, you name it. And it's good weather almost all year round, beautiful city. But that said, it is a little bit of a bubble, like for me as an average cyclist, because you have the pros, so I'm not going to ride with them. And then you have some of the influencers, probably not going to ride with them because I'm not the fastest. And also, it's very, what is the word? People come and go, even the people that live here, because they're all racing. And the summer gets too hot. A lot of people go back home, whatever home is, Germany, England, Sweden. Yeah, so it's nice, but I haven't found my tribe.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's a bit the same here, actually, but with surfing, right? Uh, there's a lot of people for whom it's like a second home. Like they come back from Indo or Bali and they spend like maybe 3, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. But you get a lot
Yeah.
of turnover, so yeah,
Yeah, so you
it's
get it.
tricky. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, like for me, it's been like a massive jump also because what was it like 6 or 7 months ago? I didn't give a shit about the ocean. I didn't care at all. I was
Yeah.
like, I was just looking at it like a wasted opportunity for cycling. I was like, there could be so many trails on the left here. There could be a nice road. There could be a hill. There could be this, and there's just like this vast amount of water. And I was like, this is really, really not very handy for cyclists. And I was like, after visiting Girona, I was like, well, this is definitely where I should base myself, not in ACR. And I talked about it with my ex-wife and we were thinking about it. And then we separated and then I discovered surfing. I went to the ocean
Yeah.
for the first time
You
after 4 years here.
Wow. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like the surf capital in Europe. And I saw
Yeah.
that you changed your Instagram profile to love bikes and waves. So
Yeah,
you
something like that. I
you
don't
have caught the
remember.
bug. How are the surf sessions going?
Well, for me now, there's not much going on because I destroyed my ribs for the second time already.
Ooh, from the paddling on the board?
I have no clue. I think it's just from like overusing them. Like every time it's a bit like with cycling. Every time you do a little bit too much, you just destroy more than you build up.
Yeah.
And after a session, I just started feeling them, and I was like, oh, that's the same pain. So they're probably bruised or cracked. I don't know. I don't even go check them, because it's like everybody
Yeah.
has this here. So if you say to someone like, yeah, my ribs are hurting, everybody's like, yeah, and so. So the sessions are like very not happening. It's the summer, so the waves are still here, but they're not as powerful. I started surfing in October, and that was like the really powerful waves. So it was a hard start, but then the winter was mad. Like it was like
And the water there
crazy
is
waves.
super cold, no?
Well, I don't know. I used to surf in Brittany and in the southwest of France. And I rarely would wear a wetsuit. So for me, it's absolutely great. Like you go
All
there,
right.
I have a shitty wetsuit, water comes in. Everybody's like, how do you even manage to swim or paddle? And I'm like, no, I'm warm. I'm good. I'm good. So it's all good.
I feel like surfing is like slow, meditative rhythm. How do you switch like between that surf vibe to the endurance mindset when you go like on an ultra or an adventure?
Well, the funny thing with surfing, it's like I was telling a friend recently, that headspace you get after like 5 days on the bike on an ultra or 5 days touring. Like
Yeah.
I know like it takes me like a good almost a week to get to the zone where I'm like, oh, I'm in the mountains in Morocco and now I'm relaxed. It
Yeah.
takes about 5 minutes with surfing. You just
Wow.
go out there, you pass the lineup. It's like messy. You get waves crashing on you and stuff, and then
Oh, I need to start
what?
surfing then
Yeah,
ASAP.
because once you're there, it's like, oh, okay, now I'm totally. There's no time to think about anything. It's like you just gotta survive the first minutes, and you get past the chaos, past the mess of the waves, and you just at the lineup waiting for like the big sets, and you're totally immersed in the moment. It's incredible. Like I fell in love with this because it's like, and it's very, very, very addictive. I understand that people here are just mad. Like you get a lot of people, design their life around it. A bit like cycling, a bit like ultra endurance.
Yeah. Are you not afraid of being taken by a current? I'm not afraid if there's people around, but I feel like if I'm alone out there, I would be so scared. I guess the same with cycling. I'm also alone. When I'm alone, I'm
Yeah.
always terrified.
Well, I mean, as you said, it's the surf capital of Europe, so you're never alone.
That's true.
That's
Probably
that.
fighting for waves.
Yeah, that's often the main problem is that there's people, and I don't necessarily get scared of being taken away by a current or stuff like because I know now locals, and I mean like it surfing for me it started because I had to make a film about a coach, and she got me into the water, and now I work with these other young pros, and
Mm-hmm.
so I go with like the best of the best. And I'm like ridiculously beginner, like level 0.
Nice.
But they're super cool, and they show you the stuff. They say like, there's a rock there, like don't do anything stupid there, or the current is there, or that's the riptide there, or that's the way to
Yeah.
go.
It's
Yeah,
important to know, that's cool that you have all these pros, locals teaching you the ropes.
yeah. It feels so funny because it's exactly like when I started with cycling, like introducing. It was a lot working with Josh Ebett, and it was like working with somebody who won the TCR or things like that. And then you're like, you can ask them any advice. And I always feel like, I felt like, well, what a privilege. Like I can ask a winner for like advice, and then I don't follow them and I stay shit, but at least I, I'm the same now with surfing. It's like all those pros around that I'm getting to be friends with. And it's like, it's a really fun world.
Well, I'm enjoying all the images. Very,
Oh,
very
thank
beautiful
you.
work you are doing. So you have a special camera to take those pictures, or is there like a cage that you can put your camera on?
No, there's a cage. Unfortunately, I've been like super broke, so I've never managed to buy one. But I got friends who sometimes like they can lend me like their camera and the cage,
The equipment.
the
Okay,
hood.
cool.
Yeah. But for photography, I've been mainly working from the ground, unfortunately, because I love being in the water. And when I go in the water, it's to film, it's to do videos. And then it's like with a GoPro and, filming from a bodyboard. A lot like cycling, because I started like, making things on cycling. I started with bike messengers, and it was pictures from the bike, and now it's like images from the boat. So it's always like immersive. I love
Yeah,
that.
I'm enjoying this phase.
Ah, sweet, sweet. I think every 7 years there's like a big switch in my life. First it was like contemporary dance when I was like getting out of school. Getting kicked out of school. It was contemporary dance. Then it was like music with Damien Rice, like for I think 7 years also.
With Damian Rice?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Wow, love
yeah,
him.
yeah, yeah. I was touring with him, working on a documentary. When was that? That was like from 2004 to 2009. Well, the trick was that I think it was in 2006 the band splitted, so there was massive drama. As I had a wild card, I was filming this, and that was the subject of the film: how the industry crashes bands, how the industry is a real vampire. The music industry, it really sucks the blood of like young artists. So obviously Warner, being the distribution, they didn't go for it, and the
Of
documentary never
course.
got released. So we did a whole bunch of like little things here and there, and I did photography for him, video and stuff, but the main documentary never got released. That was a crash.
Bummer. Yeah, I guess because the band broke up and Warner is all about, obviously they are looking at their pockets. And if the band is not together to tour the
Yeah, I
documentary,
mean,
the press and things like that, maybe that's why.
yeah, I mean, it was no, that it wasn't really that because Damien was still touring, still making music, just not with the band, but they just didn't like the negative of it, you know? And they didn't like to be pointed finger at. I mean, I never
Yeah.
said anything in the film, was never saying anything, but it was just showing the pressure build up, the touring becoming bigger and bigger. Because I really arrived when Damien was like breaking out. He had released, like maybe a year or two ago, and the album had like started very slowly and then it exploded. And that's when I arrived. So things were like moving. We were going to Glastonbury. We were like touring alongside, like often with the Kings of Leon, who were also exploding at the same time. And everybody was like super chill, but at the same time, the world was spinning around really fast.
I
It
love
was,
both of those bands. Must have been incredible to be
yeah, it was really funny.
backstage.
The Kings of Leon, like I remember in Glastonbury, it was their first ever big stage, and they were pissing themselves. And we were with them like 5 minutes before and 5 minutes after, and their faces, it's like they lost 5 years just going on stage and coming back. They came back and they were like, okay, that's done. That was amazing. And I remember like you're on stage in Glastonbury and the sound is not good on stage. It's actually quite awful. But what happens is that once the song is over, that the audience just goes mad, and then the whole stage sort of vibrates a little bit.
Yeah.
That's a really, really intense feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm feeling in the niche to go to a concert.
Yeah.
I haven't been in so long. I went in Dubai a lot. It was very nice because things are much more controlled.
Yeah.
It was so nice. They had this Dubai Jazz Festival. I don't think they have it anymore. And a lot of times there was not even jazz, but because I saw Sting live and it was such an intimate, small, there's not like overcrowded. It felt like a private concert almost. So, so, so nice. I have a lot of good memories from that.
Yeah, I think and then if you go to like festival and concerts in a very comfortable, like you want a beer, you can go get it for free. You want to wind down, you have access to the all, you have the all
It's not
access
like
and
when
all that.
people are pushing and
Yeah,
shoving and everybody wants
and
to
you
get to the
become
front.
snobbish. Yeah, I
Yeah.
became
Yeah.
snobbish. I became fragile. I was like, friends would be like, "Hey, let's go to a gig," and I'd be like, "No, no, no, I don't want to be squished and stuff. I don't want to wait 1 hour in a line to take a piece at a festival." So I was but now
Mm-hmm.
I'm going back to gigs a little bit. Well, I mean, I have a friend in Portugal who's a booker, so he gets me like backstage and stuff like that. But I've been going a little bit more, and it's been amazing. I want to see Fontaine's DC, King Gizzard, and the Lizard King or something like that. And yeah, there's some really good music going on around. There's some cool stuff happening.
Yeah. Yeah. What else? What else is happening? What are you up to lately besides surfing?
Well, I just got my bike back, kind of. I was only
Nice.
commuting. I was only commuting on my road bike, and then
Oh, but you also
uh,
have the cargo e-bike. Now I see you a lot
yeah,
on the. Okay.
yeah, yeah. So the cargo bike was my favorite bike because I could put like 2 boards, 5 wetsuits in it if I wanted to, and then the normal bike. It's just like I had like a really weird breakup with cycling because like I separated from my wife, and I instantly discovered surfing, and that was like new me, like that's refreshing. And the way I looked at my bike was like, I've sacrificed so much to work in cycling. I grinded for so many years, and now here I am like alone, in a shack. And I was like, fuck bikes, like my bike would be like under the rain, getting rusty, and I couldn't care less. It was just a way to get to the beach or the bar or
Yeah.
Sofia, but like I just had to go see Sofia, and I'm making a little article for bikepacking.
Love that. Yeah. He took
Yeah,
off the Eurasia fastest
yeah.
time and you were there. How cool. Tell me more.
Well, I mean, I had to go by bike, and like when I came back, it was funny because when I came back, I took the long way and I took some gravel and I went on a little mini adventure of like maybe 3 hours, but it felt amazing, and I'm like back in love with cycling. And it's part thanks to Sofiane, because seeing him, before the start and feeling the energy and the
Yeah.
thirst that he had for this trip, because Sofiane he's coming back to his sources. He discovered ultra distance through touring.
Yeah.
He, wa-
Yeah. I
he was
had him on
first.
the podcast.
Yeah, I know. So you know how he got his first bike and all that, like in Thailand, and to see him like going on this adventure, not being challenged by a race or something, but being like, wow, I'm just gonna cross the world and have some lovely time on the bike, was like really inspiring. And it really made me fall back in love with my own bike and this feeling. And I was like, oh, I need to do that soon. And a
Yeah.
friend of mine, Sjors, who also lives in Asia, is also ultra distance guy, had just told me 3 days ago before that, hey, do you want to go on a bikepacking trip? And I was like, nah, fuck that. I stay put.
No?
No, I was like, no, where I want to surf every day. I don't want to. And then I was like, when I was on the bike, I texted him and I was like, I can't surf. My ribs hurt. I cannot even go in the water to film. But I definitely can ride my bike, and that's great. And I am definitely looking forward to it. We just have to make a bikepacking trip of 20 kilometers a day, but that's not a problem. We can build it up.
Wait a second. I think I want to join because that's my type of biking trip.
Yeah,
You guys have a destination or not yet?
no,
Still
no,
planning?
no.
Okay.
It's just, and I think it will be like a really small one. Given we're in Portugal, we'll probably want to cross the border to go to Spain. I start my rides like when I cross a border, I always feel like this is the beginning of the real adventure. You're not in the same language, the same
But
area.
you are a few kilometers from the border, no?
Well, like 250
Yeah.
or something like
Yeah,
that,
not
or
bad. Not bad.
300, depending.
Okay.
It's not, yeah, it's like a day and a half if you push a bit. And then you can always like jump on a train in Lisbon and then you're like
That's true. Get
3 hours
closer.
away from Spain. And I just love going to Spain.
Well, you should stop by here.
I will. I'm
You
hoping to
better.
be, I'm hoping to be back soon. I might do Badlands, but like, to follow, Jesse Yates like last year. So
Oh,
yeah, I
I
would call.
love your films. Please continue to do those.
Okay.
It's like, it's so intense. Even if you already know what happened to the writer and you are watching your doc film, it's so intense. It's just so raw, real. I love everything, how you mix the lightning, the blurbs. It's super, for me, it's just perfection. It speaks my love language.
Thank you. Well, I mean, like, I hope you can convince brands because it's been really hard, like, to impose a style that is like more based on like filmmaking than product showing and stuff.
Yeah.
I've had a tough time with that, and yeah, Jesse Yates is a super interesting racer because he's in the gravel world. He has no time for BS, if I may. Like he's like so dead serious. And
Business. He means business.
he means business. He's there to perform, and it's not a joke to him. And he's not smiling. He's got a very rock and roll attitude, which I'm really drawn to. Like he's very and a super dark sense of humor. And if you follow him on Instagram, he's got the best references when it comes to film and stuff. So I'm really looking forward to work again with him because last year we had like such a challenging time.
How
Because
so?
I was filming from the bike, and I have to follow the race, but I cannot follow Jesse more than 2 seconds.
Oh,
So I
that's
have
right.
to
There's
take
some rules,
shortcuts.
right? Yeah, there are some
Oh,
rules of how much time you spend. So it's
well,
not support.
no, it was not that. It was just that, like, because it's a 750-kilometer loop and I had to catch him a few times, I had to take shortcuts. David from the race was like super nice with me because he let me kind of do my thing. And he was like, look, you're on a bike, so you're not disturbing the racers or at your own expense, like you take your own chances and you because there's like only a few sections of the race where you can follow with a car. Whereas like if you're on a bike, he's like, dude, like I'm not gonna be bothered if you're on a bike, like taking pictures or filming. It's totally fine.
And are you on an e-bike or a regular bike?
No, normal bike, normal bike. Yeah,
That's impressive. Hats off.
yeah. But it's not really like we had planned it really well that I was doing maybe a 300K ride while Jesse was doing like 750. And in the end, Jesse scratched after 200 kilometers. He just lost it at the first checkpoint.
Wow.
So I had nothing. Yeah, we had very little because we had met like maybe twice already during the race.
And why
But
did he scratch? Had a mechanical or the heat?
I don't remember exactly what went on, but it was in the mind. Something happened in his mind. It just didn't click, and
Yeah, I've been there
because
many times.
yeah, and that year, like the faces of the riders arriving in goal were like really impressive. It was like they just had crossed the desert and everybody was like in tremendous pain. I mean, Justinas, who I was also filming a little bit for the next film now that is coming out from Telfin and Albion, and I don't know who. I was doing some video work that I could, provide for them. He was also like, I mean, he went to sleep. He went to sleep, I think 4 or 5 hours.
Wow.
That's Justinas. Like after 215 kilometers, he went to sleep. Like this is how bad. And he put his alarm clock
Wow.
for 1 hour, and he kept snoozing 1 more hour, because he tried to get up the first alarm, and he was just like, I cannot even stand on my legs. Like, so he went back to sleep. And yeah.
Wow.
And then
That
yeah,
it's rough.
yeah, that was
If
like,
the king of chaos is having a hard time getting up.
I remember somebody saying that he was so depleted, he looked like Ulrich Bartolomes more than himself. Like Ulrich's face. And
Yeah.
because Justinas is always, I mean, he was still like in a great mood, but I really saw like that hole in him. And that was really, really impressive, because he left a gore, I think he was in 80 or 90th position, and he climbed back to top 20 like within a day. So he was telling me like, oh yeah, I've been on many selfies, and I've been like meeting so many people. Like, it's so lonely at
On the
the
front.
top. It's so
Yeah.
lonely. Like, I never get to meet. And today I've just been chatting with everyone. It was really fun to see him like this. And yeah,
Yeah, it is funny. You remind me, I have this wonderful friend from triathlon, and he's always on top, always, always. And he was having some type of cramp, something happened, and he was really struggling, and he was on the back. And when he finished, he's just like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know it was so much fun back there." Like, it's
yeah,
like, yeah, join the party. Everybody's helping each other, offering gels, you
yeah,
know?
yeah. I
Yeah.
think my best experience for this was I don't know if we talked about it last time. I don't know if I had done it before or not, but it was definitely Desertus Bicus, this French race.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that. You
It's like
posted,
a rally.
I think it was in
You
April. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And you're encouraged to ride with other people. You're encouraged to just have a fun time. So I remember having beers on the race, which was like so funny, like really chilling at a terrace with people and just like having a laugh. And then the next day you feel like getting a few more kilometers and just go for it. And then later you catch back another group and that's another party. I think
Wow.
there's more and more events that are coming now with this kind of attitude where it's like all about parties, like whether it's like the gravel camp, like what's the name? No, Border Bash is also very much like this, where like there's 5 people racing and everybody else is just having a fun day on the bike.
Yeah, when I went to biking in Brazil, I was actually, I mean, disappointed sound like a negative word, but I was a little bit shocked that everyone was so competitive. I'm like, oh my gosh, nobody is like chilled. I was
Yeah,
really impressed, like shocked. I was like, wow, what? Because what I love about ultras is really like, oh, there are cyclists here. I'm going to stop. You see bikes, and then you stop, and
yeah,
then you exchange stories. You have a coffee, a Coke, a beer if you want to. Like for me, that's
yeah,
the best part. And when
yeah.
everybody's super competitive, I mean, good on them. But for me, it's not the same.
I love the party, but I also have the deepest respect for the suffering.
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah.
I went through it myself, and there's a lot more. There's a lot of people now who, I was riding with Marin in Morocco, and we were talking about the sleep thing. And it was like, yeah, I don't enjoy the sleep deprivation at all. So I tend to sleep. And I was like, oh no, I love sleep deprivation. I love hallucinating. I love being so skinned alive that like every little thing matters. Because
Yeah,
we,
I think
we,
you need to enjoy it. If you're doing that and suffer, I mean, of course, there is the suffering and the overcoming of the suffering, but you need to enjoy that,
yeah, not,
right?
and like Michael said, nothing worth it is ever easy. And so
Yeah.
if you don't go through those states of like depletion, like being dehydrated or being sleep deprived, you're also missing the point for many things. I think you're much you're much more open to beauty and to grace when you are in a state of being rough, being in a bad way, being depleted.
Yeah.
When the landscape hurts you, when you're like really destroyed by it, when you're suffering in the mountains and you're suffering from the heat or you're suffering in the desert, it looks more powerful. You see the details with more vibrance, and it's something we know. Like, I remember talking with Chris Burkhardt about that. I was like, you really put yourself in shitty situation and stuff. And he was like, yeah, because I see better. I get better shots if I'm, hurt by the landscape. If I'm feeling it, if it's like freezing cold, I'm not going to press the shutter the same way. And it's the same with ultra. If you're not at some point suffering and enduring, it's not called endurance for nothing. So I get a little bit annoyed when everybody wants to make it like soft and we shouldn't promote this and we shouldn't promote that. No, I mean, like, nobody's promoting putting yourself in danger, but maybe just, giving a shit and going hard at it. And I've done both. My first ever race was the transcontinental race. I had done like one sportive in my whole life, and then I did that race. And I was shit ready, like I was not ready at all. I blocked my back 2 weeks before the start. I couldn't stand more than 15 minutes. Like, literally, I think it was more like 5.
Wow.
I was sitting on the ground at the start. I could sit on the bike. That was magical. Like, that was the only place where I was comfortable.
Oh, that's a good thing.
Yeah. But I suffered so much from like all the rookie mistakes that you should make on the 300 kilometers brevet. I did on the 4,000 kilometer race. But everything looked so much more intense. You don't get to cry in the middle of the night at the beauty of the stars if you're like fresh.
Yeah.
You don't get that.
Yeah.
Extreme,
I read that when you are so tired, I'm going to butcher the explanation. I'm sorry, I'm not a neuroscientist, but I think it was actually on a neuroscience podcast, what's his name, Huberman Lab, that he was talking about how when you are extremely tired, some of these blockers unblock your senses and you feel so much more emotional and you feel everything so much more intense. Yeah. And I agree with you on that, because I also had my phase. Maybe we'll come back one day where I wanted to be on the front. I wanted to go to exhaustion, sleep 2 hours. I cannot go without sleep, but I sleep 2-3 hours, start again. And it felt really good because you are overcoming so much. And I don't think using the word suffer takes it away from someone that it's suffering in a different facet of the word.
Mm-hmm.
Those are different things. It's not because it's a privilege that I put myself through this. It doesn't mean that I don't suffer.
Yeah. I remember when we did the length of time with Josh, I mean, I don't remember the exact quote, but he's super eloquent about those things. And he was explaining the difference between touring bikepacking and then racing and ultra distance. And he was just like, the main difference is you make yourself miserable, and that's it. And but yeah, like even as a media, like I've now started, like I remember following this race last year via, and I was with a young photographer, Eduardo Freze, and he was really eager. He was like, let's go here and let's go there, and he had plans the whole day. And I was like, dude, like I have very little experience in ultra cycling, but I can tell you something: in the media coverage, plans, they're a joke. Like, they never happen. You're at the right place for the sunset. The guy has a flat
Exactly.
away, and you're waiting for nothing. So just go with the flow. And then he was laughing because I was constantly sleeping. Like, I wasn't sleep deprived at all. I was like filling up on sleep. And he was like, do you always sleep that much? And I was like, no, I used to not sleep at all and go through the thing. But now I'm like getting older, and I just, in a car, I fall asleep every 5 minutes. It's just the vibration. But but at the same time, like, I was doing it like in a more like, I wanted to be like more easy, because I was like 2 weeks on the race and he was just coming for the Italian part at the end. And I was like, dude, you're fresh, I'm fucked. So let's please, like, no, don't push too hard, because you're just jumping in the race. And I'm I'm a ruler since the beginning. And but we had so much fun mixing the two energies, like sometimes like pushing hard, and then other times just like, let's relax, have that extra coffee be put, and then boom, you're with the camera there's a guy who comes, you're sitting at the right spot, and you're like, bang, we didn't try. Like I now had to do a portrait for. I'm working on a portrait for a writer, like quite a big writer, like millions of copies of his book.
Wow.
So there was a lot of pressure in the location hunting. We had to find a place which was like half out, half in. And it was basically like you're gonna have to shoot in a doorway.
What is that? It's a back balcony? What is it?
It's like a doorway, and I was so stressed about it. And I worked with my friend Bram, who's a young 20 years old photographer and video maker, an amazing musician. And he's a kid from Belgium who's also living here in ASA. And I just, I had done like 2 days of location hunting, taking all those pictures of like doorways and outside the church, blah, 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 blah. Like, and I was sending them to the writer. He was like, no, that's not it. No, that's not it. I love it, but I know that, it has to be like this. And I go to his house, we have a beer, and then I go to the fridge to get another beer. And then I look at this like little place, and I'm like, Bram, come, stand here, shoot the picture, send it to the writer. And he's like, this is exactly that. When you stop trying.
Wow. Yeah. When you relax,
happens.
it comes to you.
It just comes to you. And for me, that's a metaphor about everything that's creative, is that like, I was talking.
Don't force it. Yeah.
I have a Finnish friend who's a bike messenger. He's the owner of the company I used to work for, Kardama. His real name is Karl-Heinz Paul, but he lived 7 years in Tibet not in Tibet, what am I saying? In India. He was a monk. He was in the same temple as George Harrison. Believe me or not, he was having lunch every day with George Harrison. And I'm like, dude, what the hell did you talk about? He's like, dude, we were Hindu monks. You don't talk.
Silence. Yeah, silence.
So, but this guy is amazing. Like during COVID, he just grabbed the camera that he had been given by a friend that he had never used. And he just started taking pictures. And in 2 weeks, he became like a photographer, like an amazing street art photographer. He's selling prints for 3,000 euros now. I've never sold a print that expensive in my whole life. And I'm like, dude, like what? He just made a book. And that took him like 2 weeks to learn. But we were talking about like, when you're not trying, like often like, and we had exactly the same thing happening to us. Like I make a shot and then I'm like, oh, that's nice. And then I do it again and again and then again. And when you look at them, you always come back to the first one.
Yes.
And it's not as well framed. It's not as well composed. It's not as well exposed. Everything is maybe a little bit off, but there's something about it that is like more touching when you look at it. Because it's just
instinct. It's more exactly. The other ones, you overthinking. No, the light.
You start balancing things, and you start like and it was the same thing with this location hunting for the photographer, for the writer, and then we went and shot it, and it was not really happening, and I was like, oh damn! And then I had just moved into this surf house where I live now, and it's like the guy who made this house he bought a small house and then he built around it. And he was telling me like, he's a dentist, he's a surfer. Before everything, he's a surfer, but his career is as a dentist. He works very little as a dentist because he's a surfer, doesn't want to waste too much time. But he was saying like, yeah, I always wanted to be an artist. I just never dared. And then I was like looking around and the house is like full of details. Like he's got like a fisherman boat engine in the garden. Like, there's a caravan, there's all those beautiful like sculpture, like handmade and all everything is designed like, with love and care. It's not just like, okay, IKEA. Yeah, there's a bit of IKEA, but there's also
the
like
mix and bringing that personality. Yeah.
Like roof, like, I mean, and it was so interesting. Yeah. Like, and I was like, I don't think you have to be a creative to be an artist. I don't think you have to do anything special. You can make bread, or you can just like go out for a walk, and you can be an artist in the way you walk out and the way you look at things. And yeah, being depleted and being really tired on an ultra race or on an ultra shoot is definitely helping to find beauty in anything. And that's. I was in Rwanda now at the beginning of the year, and this is the article I've been working on. It's like quite a beefy article for Rouleur. And it's really about that. Like, it's really about how to me, that mental state of like being slightly broken just makes everything around you golden. And how it, because the article is me sharing with somebody why, the why of those races, which is a question I had never really figured out myself. It was all
Yeah.
poetry and blah, 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 but I couldn't really understand why are we doing that. And then I know exactly now, like, because we become permeable, like our skin, it opens up, our heart opens up, our eyes see better. And it's all about that. Aha.
We have a visitor.
We have a visitor.
My cat is here. Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, you put it so beautifully. You're always so poetic, and I love that about you. So everything's so romanticized. I cannot even imagine when you are on the ultra level of this emotional state. But yeah, we do. It's true. It's part of it, to be on that state of mind.
Yeah.
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 Well, when is the article coming out? I love everything you write.
I don't know. It's been ready forever, but Rouleur has like 3 Grand Tours to cover,
Oh, that's true.
and then there's the Worlds, but the Worlds are in Rwanda, so we wanna release the article just before that,
Oh,
because it's not just about me for once. It's also Violette is in it, and
awesome. I need to have her on the podcast. She was here
she
for Traka.
she's the most amazing.
She's
She's
so
honestly,
sweet, so talented. I really
she
want,
deserves. Yeah.
she deserves to go to higher places. Yeah.
Yeah. We were talking about her with Justinas, and he was like, dude, she's so sweet. She makes you feel like a bag of dirt, And I was like, well, from you, Justina's like, you're one of the sweetest guys around. So imagine for me, who's like, I've had like problems with about half the community of bikepacking, like I've been a douchebag for like so many people. Trust me, I don't feel great when I'm
Hard to
hanging.
believe that, but
It's true though. If there's one thing I've learned, and it's funny because Josh told me that at the very start. He told me, like, don't get in conflicts with anyone because, it's a small world. It always comes back. I
yeah, but
cannot
it's also
think of,
okay to have conflict, healthy, in a
yeah,
healthy way. Have an opinion, discuss ideas. I think everybody's so tired of being canceled and because of social
yeah,
media now. And it's like, be you. It's okay.
yeah. Well, I mean, like, I don't know. I've canceled myself with many people. I've been fighting with many people because if you add the stress of, I came to understand that in life, like when you're aggressive or on a defense, it's mostly just fear. You're just afraid of
Yeah.
not making it. I was afraid of not making it in the cycling industry, and in the end, I didn't really make it. Like it never really was it's never been a comfortable way of life. But I realized that this fear was like, and it was, and when I started with surf, I didn't have this fear. I was like, I'm going in the water, like go in the water, and the waves are like massive, and I'm like, I'm with people who know I'm not afraid. And then it was like, well, I'm just gonna like, try to sell some prints, but I didn't really care. And then prints were selling, and then this guy came, we made a film, and I was like, I've never made a surf film, and now this film is selected in festivals. So like
Wow.
trying to avoid like any kind of fear. And it's really interesting because it really like, this whole thing of it really works. Positivity that definitely works. Like I
Yeah. It's
3
really
weeks ago,
contagious. And the
yeah,
power of thought, the power of words,
yeah,
it's all connected, I
yeah,
believe.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah. So yeah, I mean, I feel sorry with many people like that I've been like arguing with. At the same time, I wouldn't change my position because it was just my position, and I still stand by it. It's like, but every time I'm like, oh, this is artistic integrity. I'm not letting go. But in the end, I was like, no, that was just fear. You were just afraid. You were just like, you were a little afraid kid who was like, I want to belong. I want to be accepted. I want to be part of a community. And you were so scared. I was so scared that, yeah, I got in fights with a lot of people.
Well, but look at you now. Like, you can look back and have all this awareness. It's pretty amazing. And if people doesn't see that and give you credit, they would be silly, I think.
I don't know. I don't know. Up to them. It's not my responsibility, anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, I made mistakes, and
We all make mistakes.
it's the way you say things, and more than what you say in the end. Sometimes.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that as well. I'm a very direct, blunt person, and that bites me sometimes. So, still, we're all still learning.
Yeah, we're more Latin than the rest of Europe, I think.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, I'm
So
excited for
yeah,
the article, and not just because of you and for what the article is about, but I also love Rwanda. I have a big love for Rwanda as well.
yeah. It's a
What
lot
an
about
amazing
Rwanda.
country.
Yeah, and it's a lot about Rwanda because Rwanda is definitely a country that sees grace in everything after having been through a genocide.
Yeah,
They
it's
are
unbelievable when you are there, and
yeah. You don't you I mean you could forget it.
yeah, you
Like
could forget it.
you could totally and then but yeah it's a lot about Rwanda and Africa in a broader term. What Africa does, and because you've been to migration, you've been to Rwanda, those countries. Africa, I don't remember who told me like the either you have the bug or you don't. But like if you have the bug, you are like drawn back, and you always end
Yeah,
up coming back. And
yeah,
like I miss Rwanda like every day a little bit more. And I have a very dear friend there that I really like miss a lot. And yeah, there's not a day passing. So the article is it's a love letter to distance cycling and to Africa in general. And I think that like there's this whole thing about like, is it cool to be a tourist on a carbon bike that is like worth like the whole life savings of everybody that you cross in Rwanda? Is it cool to like take a plane and cross the world? But I came to terms with that, and I'm like, yeah, it's actually cool.
yeah.
It's
I think
actually really
so.
cool because if you go to Rwanda in your plane and you ride your carbon bike, the result is going to be that you're going to see something that other people might not see, and you're going to see it in a way that other people don't find, and you're going to come back with like a new appreciation for nature, for the planet, for the dangers that we're putting our kids through and stuff like that. I don't think that you can really. I mean, you probably can get that by staying at home on your couch and watching a documentary on Netflix, but I have a hard time believing that. I think that's
It's not the same at all.
going to these places. And again, it's the same thing. Ultra does that you will see, and that's what I miss when I go touring. When I go touring, it's more
Hmm.
comfortable. It's 150K a day. You can start later, you can finish earlier. And when I'm touring, I rarely see sunrise and sunset, you know? Whereas
Really?
like, yeah, no,
Oh yeah,
I
because
don't.
you're touring, not ultra. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're touring, so you're not on an ultra, but when you're on an ultra, you're going to see everything. And people are like, oh, why would you cross the country at night? And I'm like, well, why not? Yeah, but you don't see anything. I'm like, yeah, you don't see, but you
You,
see.
yeah, you don't see,
What you
but you
don't see,
see.
you see, like you're at night in the middle of the jungle. Maybe you don't see the jungle, but you
But you
feel it
hear and you
intensely. You
feel
hear
there's
it. You
other
hear it.
things,
Exactly.
yeah, to experience.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I always feel like there's great things about both. And yeah, I feel like I've never really pushed really well enough and really committed seriously during a race. I always give myself excuses. I always, sleep in hotels, and now I really like I'm really thinking like I don't care if I trained or not for a race. I don't like the idea of training for a race because I'm always scared that like there's gonna be this irony, like I'm gonna train like a madman and then I'm gonna have an accident on the first day. So I always self-sabotage from the start. I go like, let's have more wine instead. And so that
Yeah.
if the race doesn't go well, you didn't really try hard. But the next one, I don't care about the training, but I care about what's happening during the race. And I really like, I'm looking for a project or a race where I can like really challenge myself and see like, if I really push hard, what happens? If I really, like sleep less, stop less, eat more and force myself into it, like what's going to happen? Cause there's beauty in that.
I tried to do that when I was in biking in Brazil, but I had an incident which doesn't matter. Yeah, so I stopped because there was a motorcycle guy following me and I got scared. So I stopped the race, which it's a shame because I felt in good shape and I was doing well and really pushing myself. But anyways, what would this race look like for you that you want to try to find? Europe, Africa, gravel? What are we talking about?
I'm definitely not into road cycling anymore at all. more and more into gravel, but I'm very picky on gravel. Like I want easy gravel, you know, I want Alentejo farm roads, like fire roads, like, or, you know, like this, like really comfortable. But at the same time, I've discovered something about cycling is that whenever I have to push my bike, whenever I cannot ride my bike, is usually just before reaching one of the most beautiful parts of the ride. So I also accept that, you know, sometimes you can go on, you can underbike and enjoy that, but it would definitely be mostly gravel. Yeah. I don't know, something like Bright Midnight or Badlands. I'm really attracted by Badlands for having photographed it a bit, having seen the region it's in, having
Yeah,
seen
you know that one
the
quite well.
yeah, I know it a little bit, and I really liked the way it was organized. But yeah, something like that, or like yeah, migration gravel race or something, you know. But migration gravel race is not it's not an ultra; it's like a
Yeah,
stage
it's
race. So it's very
stage,
different.
but yeah, I would
If
love
they
to go
come
back.
back again, yeah, if they come back with another ultra like they did when they did Evolution, then I would 100%.
Yeah, I wanted to do Evolution. It's a shame that it got, canceled. I really wanted to try that one.
Yeah, I think
Maybe
it
we'll
was
come back. Let's
just
see.
way too much for Michael. It
Yeah,
was
it's a
just
lot
like
because they have the Safari Gravel, then Migration, then Evolution, one after the other. It's
yeah, 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 and yeah, and they're already like super busy, but yeah, I think yeah, I really loved his approach, and I really love how he does everything he does. I met him in London at the Ruler Days or something like that. I don't remember what is it, Ruler Life, and he's so committed. And I was like, how do you do it? How do you keep on giving like this? And he's like, well, you know, in my other job, like we talk about like conflicts and, you know, genocides, and I work as a international rights lawyer and things like that. So that puts everything in perspective for me. It's like, this is a bike race. This is a cycling team. These are like small problems that I'm going to have to face. And he's like facing like the biggest problems in cycling, like the lack of opportunities for African cyclists, but yet he's still like, that's manageable. I can deal with that. You know, I can work it out. So super nice guy.
yeah, and they are creating something really amazing. I mean, Team Amani is really has evolved a lot, and it's always so nice to see the team doing well.
Yeah. 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 Let's see like how the worlds in Rwanda are gonna like also maybe help in a way, but it's hard to believe that UCI could help cycling. It's
Yeah, it seems like more a check in the box. We went to that continent. We
yeah.
did something there. Yeah. And have you seen Matthew Vanderpool post of the private jet?
I saw it. I saw Marin getting really
Yeah. And he
mad
never
about it.
posts, so I saw his
Oh yeah,
post as well.
yeah. He got out of his social network cave where he's never posting, and he got
I have a funny story about Mahan.
yeah.
I met him in Migration Gravel Race, and we both had the exact same kit, Albion kit. And I think it was day 2 evening or day 3. And I washed my kit and I put it on the bushes to dry. And then I went to check if it was dried. And then I picked up the bibs and I gave it a sniff. And it was Mahan's bib, and he was looking at me. So I looked like a crazy woman sniffing the bottom of his bib. And I'm like, I thought it was mine. I thought it was my, like, I don't know. Like sometimes we try to explain it and it makes it worse.
Yeah, yeah, you lose half your vocabulary because you're just like completely like
Because we had the same color jersey and same color bibs, and we both washed and put in the bush. So I was
yeah.
like, oh, these are my bibs because they had the same color jersey. And anyway, yeah, that was bad. He's a good kid.
He's a super nice guy. He's a super nice guy. He's very he's it's intimidating how clever he is, and it's even more intimidating how little he shows it. He doesn't
Yes. And
really.
he's so young, like he's wise
Yeah,
beyond his years,
yeah,
passionately as well, like you said,
yeah.
for not showing and being so chilled. And yeah, I wish he would come on the podcast, but Can't get a hold of him.
No?
He's off the grid.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a few people like this that are really hard to get on podcasts, huh?
Yeah.
But I think he's done a few
Yeah.
before. I know I think he's done one with Stefano
Okay.
for the Broom Wagon. And I
Okay.
know
Cool.
he did one in France because he's so much more comfortable in French, obviously.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't remember which one it was. Yeah, I'll try and put in a good word.
Yes, please. I would be so grateful. The girl
He's
that
such a
sniffs your
nice.
bibs in Africa wants to
Yeah,
chat with you.
she's not smelling your underwear anymore. Don't worry.
Yeah, don't worry. So you have so many things happening as usual. The surf projects, a new truck, no wine before, no wine the
Yeah,
night
yeah.
before.
Well, yeah, I never know what I'm gonna do. You know, you say I have so many things, but it's like at the moment there is like stuff to do, and then you never know what's next. Like I envy a lot of like, you know, people who have a 9 to 5 and they know exactly when they're on holidays or when it's the weekend and they can unwind. And I'm like, the only time I can really unwind or is when I really have to is when I'm with my kids. And then I refuse like to work. But like, it's really tiring how like as a freelance, you're never off duty. You're always at, you know,
Yeah, it's
you
like
can, you,
owning a small business, I guess. You're always
yeah,
on.
you can be exchanging text messages at 10 o'clock and it's like work is still there and it's still stressing you. You're like, oh, do we have
Yeah.
this location? Do we have this? Do we have that? Like, we're shooting tomorrow. Do we have this lens? And so it never stops. So yeah, I don't really know, but definitely hoping to do more of art photography because when I started surfing, I started taking pictures that I had never seen. You know, I hadn't looked at surf pictures in maybe 20 or 30 years. And I knew like that was a really good thing about it because you go and you're totally innocent. And then I quickly realized that I was like taking pictures in a different way. Like, and because every surfer that I would like, you know, take a picture of, they would be like, dude, like nobody does that. Like you're filming backwards. Like you're filming from the offside. You're filming people from the back. You're filming the moment in between the tricks, and it really works. And it was really. And then I started looking at pictures, and I was like, oh, okay. So that's what I really want to do now. You know, like it's also it's for me. It's super cool to like not work for a client, but work for people directly. So like if you sell pictures, people buy your pictures directly. They don't have a feedback. They don't go like, yeah, you know, like we think that the brand logo should be more on the right. And
It's true.
we were wondering if it couldn't be brighter. No, they don't. They either buy it or they don't. And I love that. It's the same. I tried launching a magazine for which I did the podcast after with Chris. And I kind of, I had to let it go because I was running after money, like, you know, divorcing and all that. So like, I'm still running after money. So I can't really do that project, but I love the idea of like working directly for people, not working for a brand, not working for a magazine, just working directly for the people who follow you, because I find that it's like the best way to be 100% true to yourself. You, you cannot not commit when you do that, and you don't have any compromise in the way. Whereas like if you work for brands, like I've been really lucky that I found like some brands that were like willing to take risks and let me do my thing kind of, but there's not many. And I can see now, you know, like, for instance, when I shot Sofia, they could have used my pictures, but they used pictures from somebody else because these pictures were colored and probably you could see the logo better. You know, I had like a dark black and white, and
You
I was just
you
like,
make art.
I'm
You make art, and I mean, people will buy this stuff. I feel like that. Maybe I'm wrong. I feel like I will buy this stuff because of the story, because, you know, this person kicks ass. I'm inspired. What is he using? What is she using it? But the commercial stuff, for me, it's a turn off when people are like, buy this. You know, even with the podcast, like, of course, I have brands that are sponsoring and, you know, I make some money, you get a discount, everybody's happy. But I don't want to be a marketplace.
right.
Yeah, I don't, I mean, I get it. Brands need the commercial stuff, but why can't be artsy?
Yeah,
Why?
yeah,
Art sell as well. Doesn't have to be obvious with logos and
yeah, and I mean and it's crazy the difference between, because like I have like, you know, clients who will buy like a print for like 300 euros, and they look at me and they're like, your price is ridiculous, right? And I'm like, this is like 5 times more than what I would do for like an Instagram post for a brand or something like that. So it's actually really worth to me. That's a lot. And it's so funny. Like, I had this conversation. Somebody was like, well, do you value your work? Do you value yourself? And I was like, yeah, but I don't want to be selling luxurious goods. I'm seeing myself as an artisan, not a luxurious brand. Because that person challenged me to put a shot online for 7,000 euros. And I was like, okay, I'll do it, and I did. And I never sold it. It's still there, like in the dark web. But it's super
The dark
interesting.
web.
Like, yeah, like the way we work and the way like like I've been doing this like for more than 20 years now. And I'm like, it never felt comfortable. Never, even like working in the music business with somebody as big as Damien Rice. Like, I mean, that's massive. As a kid, you're like, it was always like, oh, it looks so good from the outside. Like when I send a text message to my friend and I'm like, I'm having a chat with a guy at Glastonbury and just realized it's the bass player from our, your friends are like, what the hell? But you're just like having a chat with a guy and, it's cold and you want to take a piece and it's life. And you don't realize, and shit, I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, no, you asked me about the future. I just want to chill, I just want to do what I do and find ways to like cut, cut the bullshit that I've been telling myself too much, where you're like, I've, when I started like with doing the podcast, the little podcast I did and the magazine, publishing online a little magazine like for free, I had so much return. So many people were like super helpful.
Yeah,
They
I
were like,
loved it.
where do we donate? Where this is
Yeah.
really nice. I want to see edition 2 and I want to pay for it. And even though I wasn't able to continue that, I realized that like working for people, working for your community directly it fills your heart way quicker
I think there's a lot of
than
appreciation. Yeah.
yeah. And it's something that I really wanna explore in the future.
Yeah. I hope the magazine is just parked and you can pick it up when you have more time to dedicate to that because it was really good. And I'm also happy to contribute. It's amazing work. And we
Thank
should
you.
all support, I'm all about supporting artists, small businesses. We need to start changing, the narrative and not just complain, about capitalism taking over in a sense of like, Starbucks everywhere. Where's the little coffee shop? Well, the little coffee shop will be here if you don't shop at those other places, pay €1 more. It's not going to change your life, but it will change your life that this will continue to happen,
And
in the
then
sense. Yeah.
and then I don't know anyone who's done it really big, and I can say like with confidence that I know many people who've like whether it's in music, writing, filmmaking, I know many people who did really well for themselves. None of them really actually compromised that much. Chris been working for Apple Patagonia. He's got like 4 million followers on Instagram, and he was telling me like he never really felt like when it started being weird for him, and when he started feeling like it was a bit of a compromise, he just made a U-turn and went the opposite way and went to like shoot surf in Russia instead of Hawaii or Indo, and that's when the brands actually picked it. Or like Damien, like I mean not many people know that, but he had like a first band in Ireland. They were signed by a major. They were about to release. They were seen as the next big thing. And he just looked at the band one day and he said, I don't feel it. Like, I don't like this. I don't like the way the industry is. I don't want to make a record like that. I don't want to sell myself like that. And he just turned his back to music, went to live in a little farm in Italy, grown his own vegetables, and went to sing in the village, like busking, like on the street. And he
So
came back.
brave though,
Yeah,
to turn away from money and
he
be
came back one
authentic.
year later. 1 year later, he came back. He had an album. He recorded it like casually. He paid the musicians himself, or made them a deal. Like, I mean, it's super funny because they recorded in his house and the album went like platinum in the next while. And yeah, you got to believe, like one of the musician, the bass player, Damien went to him and he's like, okay, so there's two ways. Either I pay the session and it's like, say, $100, or I give you a percentage on the album. All the band went for the percentage. And the bass player was like, fuck that, I want my money now. And he was like, fair enough. Here's $100, record the bass. And
Wow.
then 1 year later, the guy is like,
Fuck. Big
and then,
mistake.
yeah, but they even changed it. He gave him a percentage. He was like, dude,
Okay, nice.
you, like, cause it was Ireland, like maybe 25 years ago, like the people were like so struggling. Like in Ireland, they don't even leave the family house until they get married, and they're like 35, sometimes still living with their parents. I met him, and he invited me to his house, and I was like expecting, a villa, a swimming pool, cocaine, models, champagne. And I came to this like very, like a poor suburb in Dublin. Like, it's not poor, but really middle
Yeah,
class. And I
simple.
knocked at the door, and a little woman opened with her dog, and she was like, "Hi, you must be Damien's friend." And I was like, "The hell?" And she's like, "He's in his room. I'll show you the way." And I'm like, "He lives with his mom. He like, I mean, he just
Wow.
made it in music. Like, he just come back from the American tour, and he lives with his mom." And I was
Wow.
like, "Wow." And he told me like he just couldn't spend money. Like he had a hard time with being rich. He was like, I didn't change my clothes. I didn't change anything. And then one day he went to town, he bought a bike, and then he felt like free, like on a bike, and then bought a car. And then the next day he bought a house for his sister, a house for himself. And then he enjoyed a bit his money. But that took him like, I think, 3 or 4 years before he even could touch it.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. Just wanted to make sure it was a little bit more solid. And also the cultural thing of being with your parents, maybe it wasn't something that he would right away leave. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. He just didn't change. He was totally unchanged. It's like he was still playing the street every now and then. Like
Love that.
I've seen him finishing concerts, going outside and playing for like 25 people that are just waiting there to get an autograph. And he's like, "I'm not signing autographs, but how about we have a little gig by ourselves?" Yeah.
Nice. That happened to me with Seu Jorge, a Brazilian singer. I saw him in New York. He played Central Park. And then I had a friend of mine. He's like, "Oh, we're going to go to he knew him or knew someone on the band." Yeah. And then, yeah, he was just playing there with like 10 of us. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is insane. This is
Yeah.
really cool. I love when artists do that because,
Yeah.
I mean, not that others don't love their craft, but there's so much passion, like you just finish a concert and you still want to play and be a
Yeah.
little bit in a small gathering with some of your fans. That's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is good memories.
Well, I'm really excited to cheer you on when you take your next race, be it Bright Midnight, Badlands, or whatever comes your way that you want to give it a good go. And I'll be on the lookout for the Huller article as well. And I'm waiting for you here because you're going on this
Yes.
bike adventure. So
Yes. Yes. I liked actually visiting Girona. Like I was on the defense. I was on the defensive, like I was like, yeah, but the influencers and all that. And actually, like, I met some of the influencers, and I was like, that's super cool. I didn't expect that. And then you have a coffee, and then there's a pro, and they're more chill than we think they are. The people around us, we're all often like scared of status and stuff like that, but it doesn't mean anything.
the pros are one of the nicest, I think. Like every time I ride in Girona, you always cross a pro. Always. Doesn't matter what time of the year, what time of the day, you always cross a pro. And the pros always say hi or that cycling wave,
Yeah,
always.
yeah.
There's not one pro that doesn't say hi.
No, yeah. I've seen that in Spain. I remember there was a guy from Jumbo Visma, and I was there with my loaded bike, and he passed and he said hi, and then he went for his crazy speed up the mountain, and but there was absolutely no smog effect. Absolutely not.
That's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a good thing to experience here to see. Yeah. They're normal, like nobody's a snob or anything, generally speaking. All right.
Cool. Well, that was fun. It's nice to catch up. It's it's a good excuse. You have a podcast. We get to just chat.
Love it. Yeah. And you are welcome here anytime.
Oh, thank you. Really appreciate you. Well, and yeah, congrats on everything you're doing and how great it's developing. I mean,
Thank you.
you were talking about the brands and all that, but like, yeah, I find it super impressive. I was actually super happy when I saw that you had brands. I didn't see it as a
Thank you.
marketplace, but more like, wow, like this podcast just started, and I know it was not easy, and I know like you had to keep it, and you went through like quite some chaos too. And yeah, really proud of you, because it's amazing, and you get all those amazing people to come, and now if you can sustain yourself a little bit with it, I'm really happy for you.
Thank you. I'm going to get emotional. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's my baby. I'm having a lot of fun, and I'm always in awe that people are listening and enjoying it. You know, I'm also happy to get feedback on what I could do better. Like we all have our blind spots, but yeah, I just hope people keep on enjoying and listening.
Cool. Well, I see you soon.
Will do.
Always cool to see you. And yeah, if you're coming to Portugal, you let me know. Huh?
Absolutely.
And yeah, all my love to you all.
Likewise,
Ciao.
Ryan. Thank you so much.
Ciao. Bye.
And that's all for today's episode. I want to thank the listeners for tuning in. Your support means everything. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider following, leaving a review, and sharing it with your friends.